Alright, so this video is just going to be a really quick video on how to solve these simultaneous equations graphically. So in anticipation of this video, we're just going to be using the TI Inspire software to actually graph these instead of sketching these by hand. So if you just kind of jot down these questions that we're going to do question 1, question 2, and question 3 in this order. So first, let's move on to the actual, so now we've moved on to the software, and as you can see, what we've got is the CAS calculator here, and we've got its actual output right here. So let's go back to the very start, what you might see. So it's important that when we're doing these new documents that you do always start a new document. So the way we start a new document is just by clicking on new document. Okay. And since we're dealing with graphs, it's important to make sure that we click on number 2, because we can use number 1 when we're doing other things, but then for now we actually want to graph these, so make sure that you add graphs. Okay, now if we refer back to our first question was y equals 2x. And where does y equals 2x, and the question is, where does y equals 2x intersect with y equals 3x minus 4? So just as a precursor, we've got the line y equals 2x, and we've got the line equals to 3x minus 4. Okay, what we're trying to solve here is what are the coordinates of these points? So simultaneous equations is about finding where these two lines intersect. So this is just for question 1, just to give you that basic idea. Question 2 has that exact same process. So this first graph, 2x minus 5, will look something like this. And 3 minus 2x will look something like this. Okay, I'm not exactly sure where this intersection is. This is just a rough sketch. But what we're doing with simultaneous equations is actually finding where this point of intersection is. So let's go back to the software. So let's type in the first graph that we want to actually graph. So y is equal to 2x, so y equals 2 times x. Okay. It's very important that when you're graphing these, that you put in the times between the 2 and the x. Otherwise, the calculator will interpret this as something else. So f1 is equal to 2 times x. Now, if your tab thing on the top disappears, you can easily get that back by pressing the tab key. So if you press the tab key right here, you'll see that the next one pops up. If you want to switch back to the previous graph that you drew up, which was this one, all you need to do is just press the up button. And I want to go to the next one, so I'm just going to press the down button. So let's type in the second equation of this line. So the second equation of this line is 3 times x minus 4. And I'm going to press enter. Now I'm just going to quickly shift up this way. The way you can do this, if you've got your normal graph, is by going graph, window, zoom out. And if your center is there, yep, you can just go enter. Okay, so now we've actually got the point of intersection here. You can see right there. But what is the actual value? Well, you need to go onto menu, analyze graph, intersection. I'm going to click it once. Now when it says here lower bound, I am going to go to the left hand side of that intersection point. So I'm going to click anywhere around here. Now you don't need to hold the button. All you need to do is just let the arrows kind of do its work. So now, menu, analyze graph, intersection, left of the point, right of the point. And as you can see, the intersection point 48 pops up. So let's go back to our graph, question. So for this one, our intersection point for this is 4, 8. Okay, and done. That's all you need to do for this question when you're solving it graphically. Let's do this next question right here. So once again, all we need to do is just put these into the calculator. So let's refer back to calculator. So we can go exit, we can go new document, graphs, and the first equation that we had was 2 times x minus 5. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click enter. It graphs it automatically. Now you can see that thing on the top disappears. All you need to do is just press tab. The next line we have is 3 minus 2 times x. And you can just press enter from there. And you can see that there is an intersection point between these 2 points. So to find the intersection, we go menu, analyze graph, intersection, to the left hand side of that intersection, and to the right hand side of that intersection. And you can see the point we get is 2 minus 1. So that point right there is 2 minus 1. So let's go back to our question. So our point here is 2 minus 1. And that's done. Now let's look at this last question. This last question that we have is actually a bit different to these previous questions. So you notice that with question 2, we are actually given linear equations in the form of y equals mx plus c, general form. Okay. These questions are actually given to us in a different form, standard form, such that ax plus b x equals c. So these could be represented in exactly the same way, except they're just different. They're just written in a different form. So there's just a small tweak that we need to keep in mind when we're dealing with questions like this on the calculator. So let's quickly keep the question in mind again, and let's solve this on the calculator. And I do apologize, guys. Yes, the original question was actually supposed to be without the minus sign here. So just to clarify this before we go on to the next bit, that I have taken the minus sign out of the 4, and this is the original question right here. So let's go back to the graph. So we can click out of this, or we can go click on the home button, new document. Do you want to save the internal document? It's up to you, but I'm going to click no. I want to add a graph. The first graph I want to add, is not in general equation form, it's in standard form. So we need to accommodate for the fact that it's in standard form. And the way we do that is by going to menu, graph entry edit. So I want to insert the graph of a line that's in standard form. So now we plug in the values of our original question. So that's 2x, and the next one is minus 3y, and that equals minus 2. So after you press enter, it should be able to graph that. I'm just going to move this label. Now the next one will be exactly the same thing. So menu, graph entry edit, equation of a line. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Let's do that again. Graph entry edit, equation of a line, and standard form line. So the next equation was 5x minus 3y and that should equal 4. So I'm going to click enter, and you can see here that the next line does pop up. And so what we can do is we can find the intersection between this by going analyze graph, intersection, go to the left of the point, go to the right of the point, and the intersection should be 2, 2. So let's go back to our question. And so our intersection for this graph should be 2, 2. And that's all you need to do in terms of using the graphics calculator to solve this graphically. So the key parts you need to make sure is that when you're plugging questions like this into the calculator, that you need to make sure that you write this as y is equal to 2 times x minus 5. Okay, and if the graphs don't disappear, don't appear for you to put in the actual graph, make sure you use the tab button in that case. Alright, hopefully this does help.